All right, Brave Table fam, we have such a treat for you all today. I am so excited that we have Aubert
Oui.
to the show. Tell us about the name Aubert.
Well, fascinating story, actually. My name, the first two letters of my name, A-U, Aubert, that's a symbol for gold. That's the atomic symbol for gold. And so my father's a precious metal fanatic.
No way.
Yeah, he was a mining engineer. He was super, and he still is to a certain degree, super into the earth and the how it's constructed and all the different minerals, like really science-minded, chemistry-minded, and also just loves precious metals because fiat currency isn't real. It's not pegged to the gold dollar anymore, right? So I'm his first son, first and only son. So I'm his golden son, AU. But the root of that is a German word for bright.
Oh, Aubert.
Yeah, Old Germanic.
I love that.
Yeah, so bright gold.
Bright gold.
At your service.
Bright gold. I love it. Wait, so he was he French?
No, interestingly enough, he wasn't, because even my name, Bastiat, is a French name. That's actually my middle name.
Bastiat,
My actual legal last name is Little.
Okay.
And I went through a whole process of reclamation, of reclaiming my own sovereignty and power from my dad in that way, because he didn't really father me so much. He was there, but he wasn't there a lot.
Well, I mean, I want to start with your background, and I want to start there. So take us through. Take us through.
The meandering river of life from which we spring.
So true.
Yeah. Let me just breathe into him in this moment. Yeah, it was my 38th birthday on April 25th, which was just very recently passed.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. And, came in to my mother and father, my mother John Little, and my mother Rei Hui Zhuang. And so, really representing as my soul, my consciousness being in a body in this lifetime in this way, I get to bridge East and West.
Yeah.
And all that comes with, with the father from the West who was, who's teaching English and all throughout Asia.
Oh, was he?
Yeah, ended up meeting my mom there. My mom was looking for, I guess, just to be frank, a ticket out of the life that she was in.
Yeah.
And she's like, cool, American guy, tall, attractive, knows how to speak Chinese and know.
This was
really
was
intelligent.
She in the mainland, or was she in Taiwan?
This was in Taiwan.
This was in Taiwan.
Yeah, and I was born in Taiwan.
You were?
I was. I lived there till I was 5, and I spoke,
wow.
Chinese up to that point, Mandarin.
Oh my God, you spoke Mandarin.
I did.
Wow.
And so it's still in me somewhere.
It's somewhere. It's somewhere. So you don't communicate with your mom in Mandarin?
No, she'll say some words. It just completely mixed at this point of just like English and Mandarin intermixed. And so I'll understand some of it, but not much.
It's so crazy because it's interesting that you're sharing about your mom, because I feel like that was the thing that we were growing up with and ingrained from like Filipino standards.
Sure.
And like all of my many of my extended family and stuff, either they needed to marry a white guy. Like that was the thing.
There you go.
And in the Philippines, that was the thing. It was like your ticket. Oh, white man? Okay, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, very good.
And just like any other country in the world that's been colonized and dominated by the West, there's these Western and European values and ideals. They get seeded into the population, seeded into their consciousness, into their very psyche, and that proliferates, into thought forms that almost influence a whole collective.
Totally.
Right? And so in matters of race and lineage and really recognizing the different influences and cross influences and counter influences that proliferate collective thought and belief.
It's so true. And it's kind of like, I know when I was growing up, my mom was just like, my mom, like my Lola, my grandmother, and my great grandmother, everyone was taught to, the white guy.
Yeah, because they came in and they raped, they pillaged, they stole, they dominated, because they're amazing. My Western lineage is amazing at terror and domination and control.
Yeah.
And this proliferates all peoples and all times throughout time, So this is not a judgment, but it's just, I think, important to have the awareness of, why things are the way they are, and to really study history. It's complex and multifaceted. And so for us to be students and willing to learn and educate ourselves so that we can be better humans, and just honor the ancestors, honor our lineages, and honor all. And so we can come to that place of forgiveness and really moving beyond the outer. And the outer is beautiful, and it's such a beautiful tapestry, this beautiful mosaic of life that we get to take part in and co-create in. It's beautiful. Diversity is stellar, and genetic diversity is even more stellar.
I mean, you have 2 incredible babies, but we'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah.
So take us through, how was it then growing up, over there, and then having your dad?
Yeah, they separated. That's why we came to the U.S. in a way, or it was a mixed up kind of situation. They're both in some ways black sheep in their families, and also in, I think, societal standards. Like, my mom's not a Taiwanese woman, like traditionally, you could say, and my dad's not an American man traditionally, so to say. They had different ways of thinking and perceiving and relating that made him a very unique match. Almost like, I would say, almost polar opposites in many ways. He was like 6'5", Western. He spoke like 5 languages, was really science-minded. My mom was also really intelligent, a beautiful writer, artistic. And at the same time, they're both socially maladapted. Lots of ancestral trauma on both sides, the Great Depression on my dad's side, and then Japanese occupation of Taiwan on my mother's side, which created famine. It was awful.
Wow.
And so this is the trauma that's been passed generationally that I inherited, based on, that was my personal soul path. And so came into a chaotic home. My mother and father did not know how to communicate.
Wow.
So they fought, and they fought a lot. They fought a lot.
And I'm sure the language barrier wasn't.
There was no language barrier. My dad could speak Chinese and English.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So even with that, there was still a ton.
Yeah, it wasn't that. It was a lot was lost in translation. They weren't able to articulate because they are operating in some ways at a very young age emotionally. And you see this happening in relationships in general, right? People are drawn by the gravitational pull of their unconscious material, and so they become like wound mates in a way. It's like it's love and there's all these things, right? But there's also wounding.
Oh, I love that. So yeah, tell us a little bit about the wound mates that occur or that occurred with your parents.
Yeah, that occurred with my parents, that birthed me, that I had to work through that, I would say narcissistic wounding of my father, who is, in many ways you would characterize him with narcissistic traits.
Yeah.
And I believe that all of us start out narcissistically, with like us being the center of the universe and everything being an extension of us, because that is God.
Of course.
That is the nature of reality. And so it's healthy at a certain age, but if it persists, like it did in my dad's case, because he was arrested developmentally from early attachment trauma with his mother, which also spawned other incidences of trauma, with other caregivers and adults and maybe even peers, right? That created a story and narrative for him to continue cycling through.
Wow.
Until he met my mother.
Well, I mean, and it's bananas that you're able to fully reconcile and see kind of, the patterns and the path, which has made you who you are today, and the work that you do. See you next time at the Brave Table.